Good evening. Welcome to the Parent Night for the Extensive Supports Needs Programs. We are going to get started with our presentation this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. So we're here this evening to talk a little bit about our an exciting shift in our extensive support needs programs. We're going to be joining the two classrooms currently at Pinole Middle School with the program at Crespi. And so we want to talk a little bit about the process and the reasons for that this evening and answer any questions that, that people may have. So I'm Kristen Hardy. I am the SELPA director for the West Contra Costa Unified School District. I oversee all of the special education programming for the entire district. And we are a single district SELPA, which means that we provide a broader set of services and supports to students within the district than a single school district. Now I'll turn it over to
Sonia.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sonia Neely Johnson, and I am the Director of Secondary Special Education. And I'm also a parent of a son who has gone through the district and is still currently in the ESN program at De Anza High School.
And my name is Danelle Oda, and I am the Program Specialist that supports the the Hercules, De Anza, Crespi schools, and I support the teachers and parents in the special ed department.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Guthrie Fleischman. I am the principal at Juan Crespi Middle School. It is my 6th year here at Crespi as the principal, and very excited for this expansion of our fantastic ESN program.
Hi everyone, my name is Kit Aguila and I'm one of the ESN teachers.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Barassi. I'm also one of the ESN teacher.
Hello, my name is Julian Kahn and I'm another ESN teacher. Nice to meet you all.
These are our related services, and so the people who support the Crespi team, Gail Monates Usana is the speech and language therapist, Judy Diamond is the school psychologist, Whitney Grindall is the occupational therapist, and Ross Ramos is the school nurse.
We have a great support team for our students and families in this program.
So we're going to talk about the why the switch. So we are really looking at a shift in the district programs at both Pinole Middle School and Crespi. This actually, we have seen this really as an advantage, as Julian Kahn is currently at Crespi as the ESN teacher, and he is by himself, right? And so really to talk about collaboration and making strong programs for our students, adding 2 ESN teachers to the Crespi program will help us increase that level of collaboration. Another advantage, I would say, is that we will have more staffing flexibility to support our students to be included in general education classes. When you have 3 teachers, a student who may be designated for an ESN program, they have different varying needs. And so really we want to have a program at our middle school that more models what our students will experience in high school and then eventually in the transition program. So as I just said, Crespi Middle School feeds into the De Anza High School. And it houses actually right now 5 ESN classrooms, and we have students that have, like I said, varying abilities. We have students that are able to mainstream into some general ed classes, specifically some of the MMSN content classes such as English, math, and science. And then of course the electives, the broad set of electives that De Anza High School has. And so our students, regardless of their ability, take advantage of those electives. And let's see, and I talked a little bit about our transition program. Really what's nice is to have this continuum, having our students to have an opportunity to be in a program where they're getting the skills, and as they move up, they're prepared for the next level. So Crespi would prepare them for De Anza High School, and then 4 years at De Anza, then they're prepared for the transition program, which is our 18 to 22. And also another advantage would be that they would have access to a multi-purpose of life skills, learning spaces for cooking, kind of those daily functional living skills that we want students to have, vocational opportunities, and lots of project-based learning. The Crespi campus has a lot of space for our students to be able to do those things. And then finally, I was very excited because my son was at Crespi and we didn't have a sensory room. So to see that now we're going to have access to a sensory room is just very exciting. And it's a very positive experience for our students. Next slide. I think this is you, Mr. Fleischman.
Yep. So we have a lot of really engaging opportunities at Crespi.
I think you froze, Mr. Guthrie.
Belief that I hold as the principal, that Ms. Narasaki, the vice principal, holds, and all of our special educators hold. And so we work really hard through the IEP process, wherever possible, to like Ms. Neely Johnson said, mainstream into content classes and also mainstream into electives and physical education wherever appropriate within a particular student's IEP. And we try really hard to do that because we know that the social interaction is very valuable to students. We are a science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, or STEAM focused school. We are partnering with an organization called MESA, which is a nationwide organization that gives first generation students opportunity to have access to science and engineering programs and competitions. And it is a very fun program that we're very excited to be starting at Crespi. We have a fabrication lab where students do 3D printing and laser cutting and are able to create clothing and other type of things. So it's really fun program for students. We have a career lab where students get exposed to different careers for their future endeavors. We have music program, we have art program. And one of the things that I'm really excited about is that our gardening program is really ramping up, including all 3 of our ESN teachers have expressed a great deal of interest in working not only in the large school garden, but also setting up smaller gardens and raised gardening beds in the area of their classrooms as well. So that's really exciting, really important skills for students to learn. We do have an after school program. We partner with the Boys and Girls Club of Contra Costa County. In the after school program, there are sports, academics, social emotional learning, and enrichment opportunities where students play on after school sports teams, where students get to do different activities, arts and crafts and things like that, and is available to students in our district and at Crespi. And then last thing for the enrollment process, this will be done through your IEP. For most families, this is going to happen through your spring IEP meetings that are going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. But of course, Denise Smith is our registrar. And so at any point, if you're concerned or have any questions about whether or not your student has been enrolled or ready to go, you can contact Denise, Miss Denise Smith. And there's her email there, denise.smith@wccusd.net. And those are just a few. There's a lot going on at Crespi, and you can always contact me as well. I didn't put it on the slide yet, but we can share my contact information at some point in the presentation.
Thank you. Ellen, do you want to talk a little bit about facilities that will be in this
Absolutely.
great program?
Yes, so we do anticipate having 3 classrooms for each one of the actual instructors, but beyond that initial core space, we have handicap accessible restrooms. There was a discussion about the sensory room earlier that has plans to be under construction, as well as the daily living and vocational classroom. And you can kind of see here an example of what a portion of that room may look like. This is from a different district, but the idea that there would be washing and cooking facilities so that those life skills can be experienced by the students. There are outdoor spaces. So if you're not familiar with Crespi, there are a series of basically classroom wings that are connected with enclosed hallways. And between each one of those wings, there's outdoor learning areas that can be accessed by students through the hallway system. So it's an awesome opportunity to have outdoor educational opportunities for either the garden or just cool down or any other outdoor activity that wants to be integrated into the curriculum. And then there's campus resources, there's science labs, there's art and music spaces, they have a fab lab. So some of these other specialty components that come with the middle school environment are present at Crespi and have some really nice facilities in the shops wing that is adjacent to the planned locations for the classrooms.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so now we can see the program schedule. We have a total of 6 periods. I'm gonna talk a little bit about each period. Julian and Jen, please feel free to chime in if you want to add any other details that I may be missing. So the first one is all skills. So the goal areas or the stuff that we will be working on for all skills will be recipes, names and print, writing names, comprehension, reading, clock skills, money skills, to mention a few. The next one is Functional Academy. The purpose of the Functional Academy is to stress academic skills necessary to participate in everyday life with goals for maximum independence. So our goal for each of our students is to make sure that they will develop to be a functioning member of the community. So that's what Functional Academy is for. Our focus would be mostly on functional math, survival reading, local geography, current events, and their applications to the community. Next one, period 3, is individual living skills. I'm really happy to see the campus of Crespi and how much space we have, because we are so excited to have the individual living skills practice there. We'd be focusing on different kinds of social communications, friendships, social activities, of course, with social distancing in place, choosing recreational activities, developing personal interests, participation in school activities and in the community. So those are some of the skills that we will be looking into for individual living skills. And then after that, we have lunch, I think at period 3. And then classes begin again, period 4, which is vocational education. So what else? So for vocational education, we'll be including instruction on work-related skills, job-seeking skills, and job skill training, access to transition, employment skills, and mainly just trying to collaborate with the ANZA program as well, like what they have prepared for community-based instruction. So making sure that our students in the middle school are equipped for a setting like that. And then what else do we have? The daily living skills. Daily living skills includes necessary skills to allow the student for more independence in the home and personal management. It focuses on personal health care, responsibility, home management, and family and social life as well. And then the core alternative, the very last one, is it focuses more on activities that allow students to demonstrate their skills and knowledge at an appropriate level of understanding across the curriculum, ELA, math, science, and social studies. So there, I know I was talking about a lot of information, but all of this is also accessible in a PDF document. And if you guys want, we can share them with you. I don't have my email there, so we can put that in later on if you guys have any questions. Thank you. Oh, there we go. These are some of the main things that we use at in instruction. So we have the News to You and the ULS, or the Unique Learning System. So the News to You is a platform where students are able to connect weekly with the world by reading about current events in the newspaper. And then ULS, or the Unique Learning System, it's the program that's designed to specifically give students with complex learning needs meaningful access to general education curriculum. So those are the things that we use for functional academics. And some of the other resources that we use are MobiMax, Raz Kids are learning A to Z, Mystery Science, typing.com. Did I miss anything, Julian, Jen?
We also use library books through electronic libraries for Epic and so forth.
Yeah.
And Boom Learning also, we use that one.
I would also add that we have a very extensive physical library at Crespi as well. So when we are back in the school building in the fall, that we'd be able to utilize the resources there within the school library.
Mr. Fleischman, can you talk a little bit about, you spoke about inclusion. Can you talk a little bit about what a student's day might look like as they're going to Crespi, and how that might be kind of customized to students' interests and skills?
Absolutely. So the case managers who get to know the students very well, know their strengths and their interests, will work with the families through the IEP process and identify, it might be a core academic class where the student would mainstream because it's an academic strength for that student, where they would go to an English class, either in the MMSN program, or even we have had students who are able to mainstream into a general education classes. And so if you looked a couple slides ago, we went through like a daily schedule of 6 periods. What would happen is one of those periods, the student might be pulled out of the ESN class to mainstream into another class to get that either core academic instruction or potentially an elective like an art class, or one of our STEM classes or something else to further the access of that particular student. And so all of the students, based on their IEPs and what's determined through the IEP process, have the ability to be mainstreamed into classes throughout the day. And many of the students also do go together to take a mainstream PE class every day.
Thank you. Ms. Oda, could you talk a little bit about what some of those designated services might look like, how that might work into a student's day? We saw that Crespi has a speech and language therapist, a school psychologist, occupational therapist, a lot of other members of the team. What does that look like for a student's day?
So the OT, which is occupational therapist, might come in and work with the whole classroom. Correct me if I'm wrong now, you 3 teachers know better than I do. So the OT comes in and does their services with the individualized student if necessary, could do a group if I'm not mistaken, pull out if necessary. They can also, that's OT, they have the adaptive PE piece that is also there. And I'm not sure who the adaptive PE teacher is at Crespi at this time. But that's where, you know, if the students needed support with PE, so they could do the PE, but they go to the general, my understanding is they go to general ed PE, and the adaptive PE teacher is there to support them in that class. There's speech, so that's Miss Gail, and she again with OT, you know, she'll pull them out, do group if they need group speech, or they'll do individual services for speech if it's needed. Sometimes, if I'm not mistaken, it's embedded in the program that they already have some of these things that work for the students. I don't know, do we have physical therapy? PT, OT, so physical therapy as well as OT. I think they work together. OT and PT come in together. Did I miss any other?
And then anything that would be on a student's IEP, we would be able to provide those services.
Yeah,
at
and if
Crespi.
there's questions regarding that, that's why you would call for an IEP meeting, so we could discuss if you wanted more services, less services, what exactly does it look like for your individual student? Yep.
Thank you. So a whole team supporting the students. All right. Oh, and Ms. Oda, you again. So what does the process look like? So we kind of are going to have students coming from a number of different places, plus students who are continuing on at Crespi. So what will that process look like?
So if their students already there, they're actually no change. They'll stay in the program that they're with. I'm not sure what teachers will be teaching which classes, and, you know, higher end, lower end. I don't know what that will look like. But students coming in from Pinole Middle, they should be put on a list, I think, with already, you know, with the classes they're in, and they can stay with the teacher they have. I'm not sure, you know, it says amendments. They're going to hold an amendment and letting parents know that this is what's happening. I'm not sure if you have any other options to move around, but if you're already at Crespi, you stay at Crespi. If you're at Pinole Middle, they're going to hold a meeting and you're going to have an amendment. If you would like the program specialist from Pinole Middle to attend to support with the movement, that's what you should do. So request for an IEP meeting if you have questions regarding movement from Pinole Middle to Crespi. There are 6th graders that are currently coming, but my understanding is they're not going to be in the ESN program. They're only going to be 7th and 8th graders in this new classrooms that we're having. So the ESN program only consists of 7th and 8th graders. Am I correct to say that? Yep.
And so those 6th graders who will be coming up into Crespi, into the ESN program, that will be discussed at your students' transition IEPs. And so those students, those transition meetings are being scheduled in the next few weeks. So you'll have an opportunity to talk with your team and with the program specialist about that transition. But all services and supports will remain in place for students per their current IEP from whatever school they're coming from. We will continue to provide that service and support as they transition, as your child transitions into Crespi. And then one of these 3 wonderful teachers will be working with your students, and probably multiple of you, right, throughout the day. That is one of the really big advantages of having more teachers, is the ability to have a typical middle school experience where you get to move from teacher to teacher for different activities throughout your students' day.
And then I just wanted to add about the transportation. Since I see that on the bottom of the slide, it will be offered to students who do not reside in the Crespi attendance area. So busing or mileage reimbursement. So if your student doesn't reside, and it won't really, I think all ESN students get busing. Am I correct to say that? They all get busing, so I don't think we have a problem with any of our students moving from Crespi to Pinole Middle, from Pinole Middle to Crespi. They'll all continue to have transportation if they have transportation already.
Great. Thank you. And just sort of a little bit of a timeline of the things that we've been discussing this evening. So this month, Those transition and or addendum IEPs will be being held. For the addendum meetings for students who are simply transferring from Pinole Middle School, where the only change in their IEP is just going to be the school where they're attending. They're currently at Pinole, and they're going to come over to Crespi, and they're going to have all the same minutes in their IEP, all the same services. The teachers will contact you, and you have an opportunity for us simply to send you home paperwork and for you to indicate that you understand that the school your child will be attending in the fall will change from Pinole to Crespi, but it doesn't necessarily require a separate IEP meeting, although you certainly could request it if you have questions for the IEP team. Those students transitioning from 6th grade into 7th grade, you will have your students transition IEP meeting. If you were had understood in the past that your student would be going to Pinole, that transition meeting will now be the school of attendance would be Crespi. But again, all other services and supports will transition to the middle school just as they would have before. As Mr. Fleischman said, that family registration process for students in the ESN program typically takes place through the IEP process. So your student will be registering as they're making, as that transition IEP is occurring. But you are welcome to contact the registrar at Crespi if you have any questions. And then we'll be sending home the ESY letter. So for extended school year, you'll be receiving a letter later this month that will give the school of attendance for extended school year, which will not be Crespi. They are not holding ESY because we're going to be getting ready to open the program in the fall for your students, but your student will be attending another middle school within the district for ESY. In June, you'll be getting a placement letter just confirming your student's school of attendance for fall 2021. And we will be finishing up extended school year. In July, starting extended school year in July, we'll finish up extended school year on July 16th. And then Ms. Aguila and Ms. Barassi will be moving their classrooms and getting everything all set and ready for fall. In August, school will start and your students will start at Crespi. And so I think we did not receive any questions in advance of the presentation, but Ms. Neely Johnson, I think we'll add a slide with everyone's contact information on it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I'm showing it, so it didn't automatically update it.
Oh, okay. Yes.
But so we will be posting this full presentation to Mr. Fleischman. Can we post it to the Crespi website and then to the Pinole website? And we'll also put it on the district special education website. So if you have any questions, missed any portion of the presentation, you can watch the entire thing. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to add? Right. With that, thank you all so much. Thank you to the team for being here this evening to share the information about next year. And we're really excited to grow this program, to have your students have the opportunity to be on a really robust campus with a whole lot of great teaching and learning opportunities going on, and for these three wonderful teachers to have the opportunity to work together and to kind of refine instruction to meet our students' needs. So please do contact any of us. The contact information will be on the last slide of the presentation if you have any questions, and we look forward to continuing to work with you to serve your children. Have a good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Bye-bye.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.